Michael Jones felt a knot tighten in his stomach the moment he stepped into Crestwood Bank in Denver, Colorado. He adjusted his tie against the morning chill and clutched his leather briefcase, ready to finish his last errand before heading back to work. At the sleek counter, a young woman named Lisa stood behind glass, her hair neatly pinned back. "Good morning," Michael said politely, sliding a crisp check and some bills through the slot. "I'd like to deposit this." Lisa glanced at the check, then at Michael. Her gaze lingered, narrowing just slightly. "This line is for business clients only," she said, pointing to another line crowded with customers. "I am in the right place," Michael answered with an easy smile. "This is a business account deposit." Lisa pressed her lips together. "I'll need to see some ID," she demanded, her tone sharp. Michael paused, not because he minded, but because of her accusing tone. He reached for his wallet and handed her his driver's license. Lisa examined it closely, flipping it over as if hunting for something suspicious. "This your ID?" she asked coldly. Michael raised an eyebrow. "Yes." "Why?" Ignoring him, Lisa set the license aside and lifted the check like it was evidence. "And where exactly did you get this?" she asked. Michael's patience thinned. "I wrote it," he said firmly. "It's from my company, Apex Capital." Lisa let out a faint, mocking laugh. "And what's your position there?" "I'm the CEO," Michael answered, his voice tighter now. She smirked and leaned over to press a button. "Security, I might need some assistance." She spoke into the intercom, as if reporting a threat instead of helping a customer. "Is there a problem?" Michael asked, his voice calm but firm. "I'm just doing my job," Lisa shot back. "This check looks off, and your story doesn't add up. Do you have another ID? A passport, maybe?" Michael stared, shocked. Who carries a passport to the bank? Her thin smile didn't fade. "I do when I travel," she said smugly. Moments later, a tall security guard stepped out from a side door. His eyes swept the room, posture tense. "Is there an issue, Lisa?" he asked in a steady voice. "Yes," she replied, nodding at Michael. "I suspect fraud. The ID and check don't match his story." Michael turned toward the guard, forcing himself to stay composed. "There's no fraud. This check is for my company account, and my ID is real." The guard looked from Lisa to Michael, then back again, uncertainty in his eyes. "Do you want me to call the police?" he asked quietly. Lisa waved her hand, as if brushing the guard off. "Not yet. Let's first check if the check is real. It's from a company called Apex Capital. Supposedly, he's the CEO." Michael took a slow breath, her words hitting harder than he let show. "You could save us all time," he said calmly, "by just calling the number on the check. They'll confirm it." Ignoring him, Lisa pulled over a second monitor and started typing in the details. She paused to look at Michael again. "Do you even have anything else? Another ID? A business card? Something to prove who you are?" Michael opened his briefcase and handed her a clean business card with the Apex Capital logo and his name. She barely glanced at it and tossed it aside like it meant nothing. "You know," Lisa continued, her tone sharp, "we see people trying to scam us all the time. You should have thought this through better." Michael's jaw tightened, but he kept his composure. "Is this how you treat everyone?" he asked, his voice low but cutting. "Or just people who look like me?" Lisa froze for a moment, her confidence slipping before returning. "I'm just doing my job," she snapped back. "You're the one acting suspicious." The security guard cleared his throat, still standing nearby. "Why don't we let her verify the check first and see what happens?" he suggested in a calm voice. Michael nodded, stepping back. "Fine. Go ahead. Verify it." Lisa turned back to her screen, her fingers moving quickly. Then she picked up the phone. "This is Lisa from Crestwood Bank," she said, sounding professional. "I'm calling to confirm a $20,000 check from Apex Capital. Could I speak to someone in charge?" Michael stood quietly, his face hard to read. The security guard shifted, glancing around as the room fell into a hush. A few customers nearby pretended not to watch but couldn't help themselves. Lisa tapped her nails on the desk, saying, "Yes, I'll hold." When the call finally connected, her eyes widened. "Oh, Mr. Jones?" "Yes, I have someone here trying to deposit a check in your name, and I need to verify it. Michael tilted his head slightly, waiting for what he knew would come next. Lisa's expression changed fast. Surprise, then embarrassment, then fear. Yes, of course, she stammered. I didn't realize. Thank you. She set the phone down carefully, unable to look at Michael. It's all verified, she mumbled, barely audible. At that moment, the bank manager, Greg, walked out of his office, probably drawn by the noise. He looked between Lisa, the guard, and Michael. What's going on here? He asked, his tone controlled but serious. Lisa straightened up, trying to regain control. I was just checking a suspicious transaction, she said quickly. But it's sorted now. Michael stepped forward, his voice calm but firm. What she means, he said, is that she wrongly accused me of fraud, questioned who I am, and treated me like a criminal, all because of her own bias. Greg's brow furrowed. He turned to Lisa. Is that true? Lisa faltered. I was just following protocol. It's not my fault, he seemed. Greg raised a hand to stop her. I'll handle this, Mr. Jones. I'm sorry for what happened. Is there anything we can do to make this right? Michael's gaze stayed steady. You should really look at how your staff treats people, he said. Because this isn't just a mistake. It's unacceptable. Greg's face grew stern as he looked back at Lisa. Lisa, you didn't just make an error. You disrespected one of our most valued clients. Client? Lisa echoed, her voice cracking a bit. Greg nodded and gestured to Michael. This is Michael Jones, CEO of Apex Capital. They're one of our biggest business partners. This bank manages millions in transactions for them every year. You just accused the owner of writing a fake check from his own company. The color drained from Lisa's face. I didn't know, she stammered. I was just doing my job. No, Michael said firmly, his voice calm but unshakable. You weren't doing your job. You made assumptions based on what you saw, not on the facts in front of you. I gave you every piece of proof you asked for, but it still wasn't enough, because you'd already decided I didn't belong here. Lisa opened her mouth to reply, but nothing came out. Greg let out a slow breath and turned to Michael. Mr. Jones, on behalf of Crestwood Bank, I'm deeply sorry. This doesn't reflect our values or how we treat our customers. Michael studied him, then gave a small nod. Your apology is noted, but what matters isn't words. It's what you do next. How will you make sure this never happens again? Greg's eyes moved back to Lisa. Effective immediately, Lisa, you're terminated. Her eyes widened in shock. Panic washed over her face. Wait, fired? You can't do that. I can, and I just did, Greg replied, his voice firm. Clear out your desk by the end of the day. Lisa looked at Michael, almost pleading for sympathy. But Michael's face stayed steady, showing none. The security guard stepped forward. I'll make sure she collects her things without any trouble, he said quietly. As Lisa walked away, Michael turned back to Greg. I appreciate how quickly you acted, he said evenly, but this isn't just about one employee. It's about the environment that lets this happen. Greg nodded, his expression serious. You're right. We'll review our training and policies right away. You have my word. With Lisa gone, Greg motioned toward his office. Mr. Jones, let me help you personally with your deposit. Michael looked around the bank. Customers were still staring, not out of hate, but with a heavy, silent curiosity. Then he followed Greg, briefcase in hand. Inside the office, Greg processed a deposit carefully, pausing now and then to reassure Michael this wouldn't happen again. When they were done, Greg leaned forward, speaking sincerely. Mr. Jones, I can't say enough how sorry I am. What happened was wrong. Michael met his gaze calmly. Apologies matter, Greg, but they're only a start. What really matters is making sure this doesn't happen to someone else, someone who might not have the power or position to speak up. Greg nodded. We'll make changes. That's a promise. Michael stood, slipping the receipt into his briefcase. At the door, he paused and turned back. And one more thing, teach your team. Respect and fairness go a lot further than just firing someone. Greg straightened, his face set with resolve. Understood. Michael walked back into the main lobby. The room felt different now. Quieter, almost thoughtful. The same customers who had watched before were still there, but now their stares seemed mixed with respect or maybe guilt. "Don't judge people by how they look," Michael said clearly, loud enough for everyone to hear. "You never know. You could be looking at someone who could change your life." He gave him a polite nod, then stepped out into the sunlight. Outside, he paused, breathing in the fresh air. The anger from earlier had turned into something stronger. Determination, not just for himself, but for anyone who had ever been doubted or overlooked. Inside, Greg gathered the staff for a meeting. Lisa's empty chair at the front would stay there as a quiet reminder, a sign that change was needed, not just at Crestwood Bank, but everywhere people still judged before they understood.